What do you see? This is your voice speech. We're going to talk to you guys about the Batman. Why? Because we all know, come next year or something like that, next fall, the Batman will appear. Now, it's also going to be directed by Matt Reeves. You know, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, that director. He does dope films, such as the one I mentioned. But, you know, come this Batman film, whether it's an extended DC Universe kind of type of movie, or a standalone Batman adventure, I don't really give a damn because I just like the Batman entirely. I like DC comics entirely. So, but here are six things I just don't want to see. Matter of fact, six villains to be exact, who I don't really think should be a part of that standalone film, whatever kind of film it'll be. Now, the reason why, now, number six has to be Catwoman, aka Selina Kyle. Why? Because I feel like we've seen her make her cameo a couple times too many. And I feel like, don't get me wrong, I think down the line, she should make a great adaptation to the film, or her own little standalone film if they decide to do it. But I just feel like, in terms of seeing her as a love interest again, is a little dull and a little predictable. I mean, if Deathstroke still is going to be if he's still going to be the villain of this new The Batman film, the reason why people enjoyed it and liked that idea is because it was completely unexpected and it's completely different to what we were used to in the past. You know, they can try some other options and dive deep into different female role counterparts like Stephanie Brown, Kate Kane, and then some. You know, just to name a couple. You know, I just feel like those guys would be better suited for the role if need be. I'm back. So number five, and this one kind of hurt me. It has to be the Justice League. Why? Because this movie says just the Batman. I'm not saying I cannot wait for the Justice League to come out. You know, and with that approaching, possible sequel and Flashpoint, do we really need to see, you know, Cyborg or Aquaman helping Bruce out in Gotham City if he ever needs it? No, not really. I think you can just save that stuff for Justice League or even their own little standalone little film, team up little film. Now, there's no doubt about it that he's the team leader of the group. You know, and there's nothing wrong. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the Justice League, and then having Bruce's back. You know, knowing that Bruce can just call them and they're right there. And they're like right there for him. There's no problem with that whatsoever. I just feel like it should just stay focused on Bruce's story. You know, so it can be on the helm of something of the Dark Knight of the 1989 Batman film. Just to name a couple examples. And besides, I mean, it's the Batman. There's a lot of story to cover. Number four. Now this one is actually a little bit debatable in my opinion. But number four goes to, you guessed it, the Queen Prince of Crime, Harleen Quinzel, or as we like to call her, Harley Quinn. Because there's no doubt about it that seeing her in Suicide Squad made the movie what it was. All right, I loved seeing Margaret Robbie do her thing as Harley Quinn, but seeing her in this Batman film would not do her character or her next standalone films, as if they decide to do them, any justice. Because then it would feel like they were forcing her on us, which play enforcing or as I like to call it, the force world building plague. The same thing that happened with Batman vs Superman, and I would hate for that to happen with Harley Quinn. I don't think it would really do it much justice. Now, if we see Joker make a little bit of a cameo, with his dime piece, for like a little bit, show a little baggage, to just let it be known that hey, you got us to deal with bats. It'll be kind of cool, I guess, in a way. If they frame it right, they plan it right, I think it'll be really good to see. But I don't think they should force her that much now. For this film, given the fact that they have so many ideas up for her. I mean, if you refer back to, I think last month, I did a video where it says Harley versus Joker because they're thinking about putting a movie together. Since most of Jared Leto's films and scenes with the Joker from Suicide Squad got pretty much scrapped and put on the shelf. they may be using that for their standalone little film. So I think that's why they really shouldn't force Harley in this standalone film. They decide to do that. Make this quick. Number three goes to none other than Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face. Why? Because I feel like his origin story has been told too many times, and I think it gets a little tedious and just boring, after a while. There's no need to rethread the ground if you've already explained it. No, now don't get me wrong. Christopher Nolan did an amazing job telling Harvey Dent's origin story, but I feel like he's better off. He's better off behind a desk. I'm sorry, in Arkham Asylum than behind an office desk, if you ask me. But not to mention that he is one of the most iconic and most creative and cool villains that the Cape Crusaders ever had. And that's not to take away from them. I'm just saying it would be kind of a bit of a bore, if you ask me. Number two goes to Barbara Gordon, aka Oracle, aka Batgirl. Speaking of Batgirl, whether or not we see her in her own little standalone film as Batgirl or Commissioner Gordon's daughter, I think we're pretty dope in terms of seeing a Batgirl standalone film. I think that would be pretty dope. But seeing Oracle, right now this wouldn't really fit right now because I feel like it would be a waste for one because there's so much that can be dove into with her character and with Bruce's. I just think she just deserves her own, little spotlight. You know what I mean? Instead of hiding behind Bruce's shadow, so to speak. And so I feel like also she's not necessarily important to Bruce. You know what I mean? After she became wheelchair bound, she became just his eyes and ears. And I think it's a lot funner to see Bruce interact with Alfred while he's out on the field. Just like we saw in Batman vs Superman. I think that'd be more interesting, more I guess you say movie worthy to see than Oracle. Everyone goes to for Robin because even though I love Robin, one of the best favorite superheroes of all time, I feel like it just wouldn't suffice. I feel like in a flashback kind of feature where him and Bruce have a conversation because at this time, let's think about it. He's estranged from Bruce. He's formed his own squad. Even standalone, he's a badass. And I just feel like him being a part of the standalone Batman film would just ruin that. It would ruin the hype for a Red Hood solo film. You know what I mean? Have a little bit of a Jared Leto cameo in there with the Joker, which is a necessity in my opinion, for the obvious reasons. And then also, it just really would just take away from seeing Batman whoop ass on his own. I just get aside, I feel like it's just a better fight when he doesn't have to look over his shoulder and worry about, his homeboy getting his ass kicked. One love.